Hello everyone and welcome to Bacon. Also welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon, and we're doing Waltz's route this time, so we're gonna choose Waltz. I actually have a guest with me today, which is my roommate. However, they're gonna be kind of on the side of the room, so as they speak, I'll be speaking for them so that you guys can know what they're saying, or I'll have them up on the text. Either way, they're interacting, they're here, it's a thing that's happening. He was just here earlier, maybe he went back inside. You wanna read for me? What's with all the little bubbles? That's cute! I stop and stare at the small orbs of light floating around the room. What is going on? That's my question. No, this isn't it. I emote so well. I watch in awe as Waltz snaps his fingers and all the orbs disappear with a pop. Oh, princess! What are you doing? Practicing my next magic trick. I still haven't perfected it. How come you were able to use magic? Are you a witch? A fairy? A good magician never reveals his secrets. Until later when he actually reveals he's a witch. Right. Did you need anything? I take a deep breath. Can you teach me about goodness? Huh? Why do you look so surprised? Well, it's just that I didn't think you'd come to me for help. If you don't want to. No, that's not it at all. I'm happy you asked me. What would you like to know about goodness? How do you do a good deed? That is a very broad question. I don't think I can give you a specific example. Then how do I do a good deed? The easiest way to do good is to make someone happy. So a good deed would involve making someone happy. How do I do that? Alright, we're choosing Waltz again. I find Waltz sitting in the corner of the tavern reading a book. You didn't strike me as the kind of person that would read books. Thanks, Lucette. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Oh. Though, to be honest, I wouldn't be reading this if I wasn't preparing for one of my shows. Shows? I don't just do magic shows. I perform puppet shows as well. I have to be familiar with several bedtime stories for those. You should come with me sometime. The children are always so happy at the shows. You might get one of your good deeds helping out. I have never been around children for extended amounts of time. You've got to be patient too. Children can be difficult to handle. You speak as if you aren't a child yourself. That's because I'm not a child. Oh, that's right. She doesn't know yet. Waltz hates it when he's treated like a child. Especially when Karma teases him about it. Besides, patience isn't just for children. It's necessary in a lot of situations. You're so wise, Waltz. I would guess you might need to work on that. Waltz? Excuse me? Waltz shrugs and with an awkward smile returns to his book. He just sassed her. He just f***ing sassed her. A month has passed. Okay. Skipping in. And now we get to choose our boy, which is gonna be Waltz. Peter Pan. Alright, I'm gonna save. Alright. Getting started on Waltz. I decide that I cannot waste any more time. The next day I search for Waltz as soon as the broom stops dragging me around. I swear, he was just here a while ago. Anise, have you seen Waltz? Oh, I just saw him walk back inside. I find him talking with Parfait and Delora in the reception area. All of them are speaking in solemn whispers. As soon as Parfait and Delora notice me, they break off their conversation with Waltz. Both the witch and the fairy step away from Waltz. Excuse us, princess. I watch curiously as Delora and Parfait leave the room without another word to me. What were they talking about? Waltz turns in my direction and smiles. Morning, princess. I turn towards Waltz and watch as he begins to put some puppets on the table into a box. Are these toys yours? These? They're for a show I'm doing later. Didn't he just tell you he does puppet shows? I wouldn't be playing with these things at my age. You look 12. I do not see how that is too old to be playing with dolls. Oh, he gave her the side eye. I told you before, didn't I? I have the Neverland curse. He never explained what his curse was. Oh, that's right. I don't know how this keeps happening, but I keep forgetting. She only knows like half of 2 fairy tales, and one of them is not Peter Pan. I'm actually older than you are. I find that hard to believe. It's a curse, Lucette. You don't know the story of Peter Pan, do you? It is not my fault that Mother had all the fairy tales removed from the palace. When I do not answer, Waltz only sighs and gives me a small smile. I'll assume that's a yes. Peter Pan is a boy who lives in Neverland. It's a place where no one ever grows up. I'm stuck in a child's body as a result of my curse. I won't revert to my real form until my curse is broken. Then how old are you really? I'm 22 this year. What? I can only stare in shock at Waltz's childish appearance. It is hard to believe that he's actually older than I am. I've never liked being treated as a child. This never changed. Even when I was a child, I didn't like it. But let me assure you that it is much more annoying being treated like a child by someone who's younger than you. Oh, the side-eye again. Waltz straightens with the box in his arms. Now if my princess will excuse me. He turns to leave. Where are you going? I have a show to do today. Waltz does so many puppet and magic shows. How will he help me break my curse if he is never around? I'll go with you. What? I might accomplish a good deed if I come to one of your shows. That's true, but... Waltz sighs. I'm not sure it's a good idea. There are bad witches out there. Oh? There is an evil witch right here in the marching, but no one is protecting me from her. Are you talking about Delora? Yeah. Who else would I be referring to? Walt stares at me for a long moment, eyes thoughtful. He sets the box down on the table again. Don't go anywhere. I'll ask Lady Parfait first. Well, I mean, where's the lie? He leaves the room. I lean over the box on the table and see a pile of carefully detailed puppets. Everything looks handmade. I used to sew my own puppets before Mother found out and forbade me from making them. She told me that sewing was not something a crown princess should do. Interested? Waltz's footsteps are so soft that I do not even notice that he has returned to the room until I see him standing before me. I step away from the box. How does he move so quietly? Permission granted. Come on, the show starts in an hour. I watch as Waltz sets up a small booth on the street where I'd first seen him with Emmeline. Back then, I never thought I would see him again. It's nice to see you actively trying to break your curse. I shrug. I am not convinced this will work, but Parfait said that if I partnered up with someone, I might be able to break my curse faster. So you chose to partner with me? His tone of voice startles me. He sounds both happy and sad. Aw. Oh. Was he lying when he said he wanted to help me? That everyone in the marching was willing to help me? Would you rather I pick someone else? No. That was quick. I jump at his sudden reaction, and Waltz awkwardly clears his throat. No, I'll do everything I can to help you. He seemed a little excited. Like, absolutely not! Waltz heads for the back of the booth. I begin to follow him, but am forced to stop when he holds out his hand. You haven't had enough training to be my personal assistant yet, Princess. What? I stare at him, puzzled. I never said I wanted to be your personal assistant. In training? Why would one need training to assist with a children's show? You might just be able to snag a good deed if you agreed to become my assistant, you know. Is he trying to finagle us into being his assistant? There's a teasing twinkle in Waltz's eyes as he waves me off. He wouldn't have to have as much work to do himself if he had an assistant. I'm sensing a motive here. But until you're ready, you should stay with the children and just watch the show. I think you'll enjoy the story. I recommend getting a place up front. You'll be able to see all the action that way. When I do not move, Waltz sighs and smiles at me. I promise the children won't bite you unless you bite them first. That is a lie! Children bite!
They always bite.
They bite without any sort of anything. Like, there doesn't need to be a reason. Fine. That's my star. Star? He disappears around the back, leaving me alone. In no time at all, people begin to gather. Soon there is an impressive audience around Waltz's small booth. I look at the group of children that are clustered as close as possible to the front. They are clearly excited for the show to start. And I'm wondering if Waltz already has a crush on her, given his reactions just now. I used to do puppet shows with my dolls too. I felt less alone when I pretended my dolls could talk. And I am still alone. Nothing has changed. I sigh as I sidestep to allow someone else to stand beside me. I am surprised to see that the person is an adult. I look out at the gathering crowd of people and find that there is an almost equal ratio of children and adults. Why would adults be at something as childish as a puppet show? Hello, everyone! An excited silence falls over the area as Waltz's voice rises above the crowd. I, Waltz, am here once again to share another story with you. I hope you enjoy the show. Once upon a time, there was a village whose people were always happy. But one day, an evil witch found the village. The evil witch carried darkness deep in her heart. She was jealous of the townsfolk who were filled with so much light and happiness. If I cannot be happy, the evil witch said, then no one can be happy. How overly dramatic. I almost jump when I feel a tug on my dress. I look down to see a little boy pulling at the hem of my skirt, though his eyes remain focused on the puppets. I don't like her. That witch, she's bad. Well, he did say she's an evil witch, so I mean, his grip on my skirt tightens. He is wrinkling my dress.
Remove his hand. Remove it. How dare he touch you?
Upon request of my guest here, we're going to remove his hand. I reach down to pry the boy's hand off my skirt, but the boy moves faster than me. The moment I pull his hand away, he quickly refastens his grip, this time around my hand. It just got worse! It just got worse! Hey! The boy does not move his hand. In fact, his hold only tightens, so much that I find it impossible to pull my hand away. There is no way I can make him let go without causing a scene. Now I'm going to be stuck holding the hand of a little boy I do not know until the end of the show. How did this happen? Darkness spread over the village. The people began to suffer. They forgot what happiness felt like. One villager decided to leave and find a good witch that would help save everyone from the evil witch. The villager knew it would be very dangerous, for if he were discovered, the evil witch would certainly kill him and his family. But the man knew he had to try if he ever wanted to see the other villagers smile again. Many days later, the man finally returned with a good witch whose heart was filled with light as the evil witch's was filled with darkness. The good witch, unable to bear the sight of the villagers' suffering, decided to help them. She cast a powerful spell that would... I haven't seen a crystal yet. That means that was the right decision. We'll find out. She cast a powerful spell that would send the evil witch away and save the village at the cost of her own life. Once the spell was cast, the darkness disappeared from the village. To this day, the people of the village are said to carry the good witch's light within them, and everyone lived happily ever after. But aren't all witches evil? That's simply not true. I've met a good witch, one with a heart more light and loving than any fairies. More of the children begin to ask questions. I sigh, unable to do anything except wait while Waltz is bombarded with questions. Thank you. The boy thanked me for having taken my hand and wouldn't let go. You're welcome, asshole. The boy that took my hand gives it one last squeeze before running off to join his friends. What did he thank me for? Once the audience finally leaves, Waltz comes out from behind the booth and smiles up at me. The show was a success. Princess? There was a boy. He thanked me even though I did nothing for him. The little boy who was with you? But you did do something. You held his hand. I did not want to. It was against my freaking decision. It was against my will. I realized that when I saw the annoyed look on your face. Yeah, I kind of knew. Waltz? It would have been good of you to do it if you'd meant to calm him down. What? That boy was really frightened by the evil witch in the show. It was the right decision! It was the right decision! He thanked you because you held his hand and stayed with him when he was scared. Sometimes just having someone beside you when you're afraid is enough. Having someone beside you? I think back on all the times I felt scared. Mother always told me to hide my fear and to never cry because it made me appear weak. I could never ask for her help and the king was never there for me. Every time I was afraid, I was always alone. I shake off the memories and realize that Waltz is asking me a question. What's up, Shorty? What did you think of the show?
I thought he said, "What's up, Shorty?"
Princess, sup, Shorty? It was short. It's simple. There should not That's it? I created that entire show, you know. Story, characters, everything. It could have been better.
Wow.
Lisa is such a bitch.
I love her.
Apparently, my roommate guest loves her. You wound me. I have nothing more to say, and Walt seems disheartened by my silence. You always complimented my stories, even when they were silly. We did? Because even in the other routes, I don't recall having met you before the intro. I'm sensing backstory. Walt's telling me stories? I do not recall such a thing. He makes it sound as if we'd known each other for a long time. But that would explain why he was kind of excited to keep her as a partner. Okay. Before I can ask him for clarification, he changes the topic. Do you mind accompanying me to the toy shop before we head back? Do I have a choice? She's such a sass. She's like, this is the sassiest I've ever seen her in any route. This is the sassiest I've seen her, and I'm loving it. Especially because so far, honestly, Waltz is slowly becoming my favorite. We're not even really that far into the route yet, just because he himself is pretty sassy.
It's the SASS couple. SASS match made in heaven.
The sass match made in heaven. Waltz's lips quirk with a smile as he picks up his materials. You might have fun, princess. Come on. This is the shop I went to before I was cursed. Feel free to look around, princess. I won't be too long. I nod at him before walking over to the doll display. The dolls here are actually beautiful, but with the gold I have left, I wouldn't be able to afford even one. I miss my dolls. Papa, I want that one. The sound of a little girl's voice draws my attention. I look around the store before spotting a little girl pointing at a big teddy bear. She looks expectantly at the man beside her. That must be her father. The man shakes his head, his eyes filled with regret. We can't afford that one, dear. Could you choose something else? The girl looks like she's on the verge of bawling. I back away, fearing that the child might throw a tantrum. Instead, she rubs at her eyes before looking up at her father with a slow smile. I understand, Papa! The man smiles and pats her head. Thank you for understanding, sweetheart. You're being so grown up. I only need you and Mama to be happy. What kind of accent was I trying just now? I love you, Papa! I love you too. The king has never once told me that he loved me. He must be better off without me. Do we even belong in the palace anymore? Papa, look! The king! The moment I hear her say his title, I quickly rush from the toy shop. Hail the king! Long live the king! Hail King Gennaro! He is the first one I see, mounted on his favorite white stallion as he waves at everyone. I spot Ophelia, Rod, and Emmeline with him, mimicking his motions. The king used to invite me to join him before, but I always declined. He always went out alone. Once a month, the king sets out to check on the conditions of the kingdom in person. It is his way of bonding with the townsfolk. The Order of Caldera trails behind the royal family with Sir Alcaster at the head, but there is one particular person that is missing. It is strange that Fritz isn't here. The parade is an impressive sight. The crowd lining the streets becomes denser with each passing second. I weave around the mess of people in an attempt to get closer to the king. Thank you, everyone! He is smiling, a true smile. I have never seen him smile like that at me. A heaviness begins to weigh down my heart. Suddenly it becomes hard to breathe. Please look this way. Please look at me. Aww. The king is looking happier these days, isn't he? I don't think I've ever seen him so joyful. Oh, that's gotta hurt. You must be his family. Happier? All I want is for the king to look at me, to see me. But he does not so much as glance my way once. I stare at the ground with bleary eyes. He's happy without me. I return to the toy shop with a heavy heart. The little girl from earlier is standing with her father by the door. He ruffles her hair before holding his hand out to her with a smile. She takes it with a giggle and the two walk off together. A hot ache sings through my blood as I watch them leave. Is this jealousy? I reach up and clutch at my chest. My heartbeat feels painful. This is a terrible feeling. Princess? Lucette? I stare at Waltz, temporarily stunned by the fact that he called me by my name and not my title. Are you okay? Despite myself, I find my eyes drawn back to the little girl and her father as they stand just outside the door to the toy shop. Princess? Okay. Let's see. I kind of want to finish this chapter. That way I can just be doing it per chapter. But I don't know how much longer this is going to be. And I've already gone on for pretty far. So I'm going to go ahead and end things right here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon. And next to me, very silently, has been my roommate. Pluto. They're going to go by Pluto. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that lovely stuff. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!